Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. All right, it's been a minute since I've been on here, everybody, so thank you for joining and tuning in for this video. If you're new, this is a YouTube channel where I tend to just go with the stream of consciousness, just talking about my thoughts today. And today, what I really want to talk about is this investor day coming up for Tesla. So I'm going to give you my thoughts, my opinions, and just kind of some things that just strike me as pretty weird, pretty obvious about what's going to be discussed. So again, this is all about fun. It's a few days away. I think Wednesday will be the actual investor day. So very exciting time. But again, it's just a video for fun and speculation. So take it with a grain of salt, but hopefully you see some validity into my point of view and my opinions. All right. With that said, I guess the best part to really kick things off is to share my screen and let's actually look at the announcement, because I think that's the best place to start with everything. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to make sure my face isn't covering anything. All right. So Tesla announces date for 2023 Investor Day. All right. So this was on January 2nd, and the day of the event will be March 1st. All right. So I don't really like to read into these kind of things too much, but there are things that you can read into this, especially how soon it'll be close to Pi Day, and the idea that if you've seen videos from connecting the dots about the Tesla Pi or the Tesla Tau, there could be a connection there. But I'd rather read into like the things that seem just a little more literal and obvious. So with that said, let's take a step back and let's read through this. We plan to host Tesla's 2023 Investor Day on March 1st, 2023. The event will be live streamed from our Gigafactory, Texas, with the option for some of our institutional and retail investors to attend in person. Details to follow. I'm still checking my email. Unlike the shareholder meeting, I haven't received an invite for this yet. So if I do, I'll let you guys know. If I get one, I'll obviously go and I'll stream whatever I can. But up to this point, no invite yet. Okay, so our investors will be able to see our most advanced production line. All right, I'm going to pause there for a second. So our most advanced production line. Now, at first, when I read this, and I've said this a couple times, I think I said it either with Yashu, Farzad, or Tesla Herbert. But even though I haven't been putting out a lot of videos, I've been on a lot of their streams and stuff. And sorry if I keep coughing. I'm just getting over a bit of sickness I had. But when I first saw this, I didn't think much of it. Hearing about their latest line of production, I thought it would be just like the shareholder meeting where we had the chance to go and kind of walk through the factory a little bit, which, I mean, it was nice and all, but the truth is we didn't really see anything. We didn't even get to see the 4680 line. We didn't get to see the 4680 Model Y line. You really only got like a glimpse of it. And to be fair, I also think the factory is still kind of ramping up. So, I kind of took it to just be that. But now that I'm sitting here and thinking about it again and reading this, and this is how they lead off, that our investors will be able to see our most advanced production line. That makes me think that they're going to show whoever's there. Maybe I don't think they'll show us on the live stream, but whoever's there, they'll probably get to see the structural pack version of the Model Y assembly line. And I doubt they'll be able to get to see the whole line, but I think that's what this is. So if you're going to be there, that'll be a pretty cool thing to see. Now, there could also be, something else in the works, right? There could be something that we don't know about. Another advanced production line that we have yet to hear about, and this could be regarding a next generation platform vehicle, which we'll get into in a second here. Okay, so our investors will be able to see our most advanced production line as well as discuss long-term expansion plans. So long-term expansion plans. This to me is the big thing that I think they're really going to talk about during Investor Day. So expansion plans can mean a lot of different things. It could mean factories. It could mean how they're going to scale batteries. It could mean how they're going to scale energy, where they can do solar panels. It could be about a next generation vehicle, right? Again, long-term expansion plans, right? How do we go from a $2 million a year vehicle company to true scale. And maybe it's not just about the vehicle. Maybe it's also talking about Optimus, right? I mean, so when I see this, I think, the most obvious thing to read into this would be talking about factories. Where are we going to go? We're going to go Indonesia, Canada, Mexico. But there, with the wording, there's interpretation there's potential interpretation for this to mean many, many other things. So up to this point, just reading this, I didn't think much of anything. And then we get to this next part, Generation 3 platform. This is the part that I found extremely interesting. Not that it's the Gen 3 that we, or the Model 2 or whatever you want to call it. Not that we haven't known that something was eventually going to come out, something was in the works. Elon's talked about it. They've teased about it on the earnings calls. But the fact that they're calling it a platform. And when I saw the word platform here, it really made me think about kind of some of the smart ass response that Elon would give a lot of people. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times people say, well, how are you going to get to 20 million vehicles when, Toyota or Volkswagen have only ever done like 10 million, and it's a valid question. And Elon would just say, well, I guess you'll just have to wait and find out. Or he would say that, I think we have the most exciting, what's the word I'm looking for? Product pipeline out of any other company in the world, right? I mean, he says these things. He says, well, you don't have to believe me. I guess you'll just find out, And so when I hear this, it makes me think like there's got to be something else going on, right? It can't be that they're going to just release one type of vehicle. And I think this is where the Gen 3 platform really comes in, and it kind of makes sense that they would talk about a platform, because if you think of the Model 3 and the Model Y, they essentially sit on the same platform. I don't know if the S and X do, but the S and X do have that same kind of commonality in many areas, right? Whether it's motors or just that class of vehicles, right? They're in that same type of generation of platform in some way. I don't know if the chassis is the same or not. I should probably know that, but I don't. I know the 3 and Y are though. So if the 3 and Y are, and fundamentally the structure on top, right, the housing of the actual vehicle, what makes the Y and the 3, those are very distinct. And so if the Gen 3 platform comes out, I am of the mindset that this means that it will be a multiple variations of vehicles. I could see there being a China variation. I could see there being a European variation, a Japanese variation, a States variation, a South American variation, all sitting on top of this platform. On top of that, I could see a robotaxi being part of this platform. So I think this is going to be the kind of defining moment when it comes to the vehicles. And this is why Elon has been so adamant about telling people that we have the most exciting product pipeline, and that they believe they can get to 20 million vehicles, and that, just wait and see, all right, you don't need to believe me, just you'll see. So I think this is very exciting, and I'll talk more about this in a second here. All right, so then capital allocation. Okay, so capital allocation, I know a lot of people immediately gravitate towards buybacks, but when I heard this, and again, this is what's beautiful about YouTube, is that we can have all these varied opinions and ideas, and we read one thing and we all take something different out of it. But when I read capital allocation, I took that to mean gigafactories. Right? Like, where are you going to allocate the capital you have into what factories, or into what R&D, or et cetera, right? So, or superchargers. So I could easily see them talking about expanding gigafactories. I'm still of the mindset that they'll probably announce, well, maybe not here, maybe not on this day will they announce, but I can see them talking about how they're looking to grow by 3 or 4 different gigafactories in different areas and try to build those out at the same time, right? I think doing Berlin and Austin showed that they could do 2 factories at the same time. So perhaps they would do Mexico and Indonesia, or Mexico and Canada, or UK and Brazil. I don't know, right? Or maybe even more, right? Maybe they would do 2, 3, or 4. I could definitely see that being something that they think about, or that's a way for them to scale. And when we're talking about this, not just about making vehicles, but batteries as well. All right. I mean, capital allocation for more battery plants. I'd be shocked if there isn't eventually something going on in Indonesia, right, with the amount of nickel supply that they have there. So capital allocation, I don't take that to mean buybacks. I am still of the mindset that I see no point of buybacks unless the real constraint is we don't have enough human talent to carry out the goals we have, right? It's not about, Tesla has enough ideas, I'm sure of it, right? The ideas aren't the issue, right? What we normally see is that whenever companies start to do buybacks, is they're essentially running out of ideas to really move the needle. Okay, it becomes a innovation dilemma. I don't think Tesla has that problem. I think the problem with Tesla is that they only have so many talented people. They're growing fast. They're adding headcount like crazy, and they're still staying very lean. But there's only so much talent out there, and all these companies are vying for it. So I think that becomes the problem. And if they do a buyback, it'll be because of that. So not ruling it out. I would rather Tesla be in a position where they don't need to do a buyback. They can go ahead and deploy that capital to work on all the ideas they want at scale. To me, that would be the ideal situation. And other subjects with our leadership team. Okay, so that's the gist of it here. Now, let me walk you through, I guess my conspiracy theories, if you will. So we'll start with the most basic one. Let me zoom in here. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. I hate being sick. All right. So after California, the old HP office was named the Tesla Engineering HQ headquarters, Elon tweeted this, right? This is late at night. This is during the party that was going on. He tweeted saying EV1, T0, Roadster, S3 XY Sexy, Semi, Cybertruck, ... So I'm kind of working backwards here a little bit because this was more recent than the actual Investor Day invite. But when you see this, I mean, days before Investor Day, it's very hard to not think, okay, they're going to be announcing another vehicle, or obviously the platform. I almost, again, like just hearing platform and seeing Elon tweet this, I can almost envision on a stage where here comes out one vehicle on the platform. Here comes a different one that looks differently. Here's another one. Here's another one, right? And maybe these are all for specific markets. I could almost see that being like a real thing. And maybe they're starting off with the China version, right? And that's the first one that's going to get built. Maybe it's already being built. Maybe they're already working on that. And maybe I'm just making all this up. Or maybe they're just going to show us a platform of what could be done with that platform and what their goals are, what they're achieving. Maybe they haven't achieved it yet, but they have their aspirational goals to do X, Y, Z by a certain date. But again, if we are going to include the robotaxi on that platform, Elon has suggested that robotaxis would be scaling in 2024. And I would imagine to scale in 2024, you need to have the product announced in 2023 and start production in 2023. So that kind of just makes me think that they're going to show something. So, and the other thing too is, I don't know if you guys recall Elon saying this, but he did say that there will be no new product announcements in 2022. He said that like 3 or 4 different times last year, and we're not in 2022 anymore. We're in 2023, and here we are, ready for March 1st. It seems like this can be a big day, a big bang to come out the gate to start 2023. So I'm pretty optimistic about this. All right, so this is just suspicious, right, to say the least. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so let's look at this. So this is actually, I have a better version here. Okay, so this was the invite. All right, and I know you've all seen this a million times. I know we've already seen where Corey could, immediately called out that this looks like the side piece for the Model Ys, but it looks a little different, right? And he noted that as well. And I'm zooming as much as I can here, and I know there's better pictures, but when I looked at this, I won't lie. When I saw this, I didn't look at this and think that it was just the side piece. To me, this looks like I don't know how else to say this. It looks like it's volume to it. It looks like it's already been assembled. It looks like there's more than just than this, what we see here. And this may just be, a part of the picture, something done in Photoshop to kind of give it this depth effect, right? I mean, it could have something to do with the fact that, the Tesla logo here kind of has like this emboss, again, depth to it. So maybe that's all it is. But this is a very interesting invite. I mean, when I look at this, I think of the Matrix, right? I think of like the Matrix where everybody's being born again, or they're essentially unplugging in their little pods that the machines are using them for energy, right? That's what this looks like to me, right? Just absolute crazy scale. And so this kind of makes me think, this is the answer to the 20 million vehicles. And so if this is the answer, I have to believe that this is going to be more than one product on this platform, because again, to think that someone's going to make 20 million vehicles of one vehicle type that's going to be so popular that they'll be able to sell 20 million of it, that seems, I don't know. I mean, the Model Y is pretty popular, and it'll probably be the most popular vehicle in the world this year, but I still, I don't know. I don't think one vehicle can do 20 million unless it would be a robotaxi style vehicle. If it's a robotaxi style vehicle, well then who cares, right? At that point, I don't really care if people want to buy it or not. I want it. It's just about the service at that point. So interesting invitation here. And here we can see it again. And here Elon says, Master Plan 3, the path to a fully sustainable energy future with Earth for Earth will be presented on March 1st. The future is bright. All right, so this was like one of the first things that came out whenever this was announced. So, okay, so let me read into some things that Elon's saying here. So Master Plan Part 3 will obviously be announced during this event. The path to a fully sustainable energy future for Earth will be presented. Okay, fully sustainable energy. So clearly, if we're going to do 20 million vehicles a year, we need to have more batteries. We need more battery packs. And why? If we need more batteries, what else do we need? We need more materials, right? We need more lithium. We need more iron. We're going to need more nickel, right? We're going to need more anode production, more cathode production. We're going to need to have new chemistries, manganese, right? New methods of extraction, right? So it goes all the way back to the very essential elements themselves, and in order to get to this end product, right? So essentially you're starting from, the very core, the first principles, right? And working backwards to the very beginning. So if the end goal is 20 million vehicles, if the end goal is a sustainable energy future, right? To be off of fossil fuels, to be completely on renewable energy. Okay, that's the goal. All right, so let's work backwards from there. So what do we need? All right, well, for Tesla, they plan on doing 3 terawatts a year, right? So, okay, so if they're going to do 3T there, okay, well, how do we get to that? Well, let's work backwards. Okay, well, we need more batteries. All right, so we developed the 4680 battery, but okay, so we're working on that. We can build the lines for that. We can definitely scale that. We can get the battery production there. But in order to make the batteries, well, let's work backwards again. Well, what do we need? Well, we need more material. Okay, well, how do we get more material? Well, there's a huge bottleneck with refining all of these metals. Okay, well, how do we fix that? Well, let's work backwards again. Well, that means that Tesla has to get into mining. So I do think that they will talk about getting into mining, about some things that they're doing there. So I think that's another part of this. I think that's part of a sustainable energy future. I think that's part of true massive scale, because as you work your way backwards, it just seems to be the most obvious thing. Coupled with that, or maybe even leading with all of the signals and signs that we've already seen from Elon, from Drew, from all the other great YouTubers out there, right? It seems to be pretty straightforward or pretty obvious that refining, manufacturing of these metals is going to be something that they're going to have to get into. All right, so let's look at one other thing. So this is the quarterly earnings deck, Q1 2022. And if we look over here, I just want to, let me see if I can zoom this in. So here we can kind of see all of their products, right? I know I'm covering some of the words over here on the right, but it just says production. So we got all the ones we know, right? You got the sexy vehicles. You got the Cybertruck, which this will be going into production this year. Tesla Semi started production. Roadster, Elon said many times, this is dessert, right? And then you have future product. Okay. So future product, all right, that one's interesting. That obviously makes you think of the Generation 3 platform. All right, so let's go to 1 quarter later, all right? So this would be Q2 2022, and I'll zoom in the same here. Try to get a good view here. Okay, and here we can see that there's a little difference, right? So this time we see robotaxis and other, and this time it's in development. So this is interesting because robotaxi, we know about this already. And I think Elon's pretty much hinted at the fact that robotaxi is the next product for them. And I do suspect that robotaxis will be the first thing to launch, especially with FSD beta progressing the way it is. 11.3 should be very, very interesting to see how that handles, how that progresses. But Tesla's quickly allowing the neural nets to eat up all of the heuristics that they've been using, and so all that's getting deprecated. Essentially, everything's moving over to the neural nets, and the architecture of neural nets keeps leveling up. And we're seeing this progress, we're seeing this improvement, and I talk about this a lot. And I think a lot of people get tired of hearing about this future of these robo-taxis and FSD and all these things that don't exist yet. And I don't understand why people get so bent out of shape about it, because it does exist. It is happening. I mean, we can watch the progress going on. Like, I would understand if you were somewhat, antagonistic about talking about robo-taxis and FSD if we just didn't see meaningful progress. But the truth is, we are seeing meaningful progress. And in fact, I would say the progress is getting, greater and greater every time, right? Each update seems to be drastically getting better than the previous update. And as we're getting so close to solving this problem, you wouldn't think that would be the case, but it seems to be. Now, I'll hold, I'll asterisk that point of view with the fact that we have yet to see 11.3. We'll see how that goes. But I think it will probably be more of the same. Anyways, what's interesting about this, robotaxis and others. This again makes me think that the platform, Gen 3 platform, will be of a multiple different type of or an iterative platform, just like the 3 and Y were, right? But this will be even more, right? Again, I think it'll be more geo-based. It'll be a China vehicle. I mean, we know that the China design team has been working on something for a while, right? For a long time. And I have to believe that it has to do with this. There's nothing that the Chinese want more than a vehicle of their own, right? A Tesla made and designed by Tesla in China, by Chinese workers, by Chinese design, with Chinese influence, right? And I think that's extremely important for them. The Europeans feel the same way, right? Think about the Germans and the culture there, the Italians, the culture there, the Brits and the culture there, right? That's a very strong automotive culture as well. And so imagine a German design vehicle, right, that sits on this platform, but it's German. It's got the feel and the exposure of being German. So I can see this being something that happens. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to worry about complexity, because Berlin would make the German vehicle, China would make the Chinese vehicle, and maybe there would be a US vehicle. Anyways, or maybe it'd be North America vehicle, right? Or just Americas. Maybe that's what Mexico's about, right? The labor costs in Mexico are very, very low, lower than China, believe it or not. So if they're lower than China, right? Imagine the leverage that they have, the pricing power, the pricing power that they have. I mean, it's really astounding. So this whole robotaxi and others, I think that is what the Gen 3 platform is all about. So to kind of wrap this up, because I've been going for a little bit here and I'm sick and I'm holding multiple coughs. I really think that Tesla, Elon, the team are going to paint a vision for true scale. All right, I think that's pretty obvious. Elon said that many times. Now, I don't think that is something that would move the needle for Tesla stock. At the end of the day, that's really what a lot of people want, right? People want to see Tesla, kind of buck the trend of what we've been seeing lately, with the stock market kind of giving up a lot of the gains, right? Now, I think Dow is back to negative for the year. So in order for this to happen, talking about truly mass scale, I don't think it's going to cut it. Talking about opening up new gigafactories, I don't think that will cut it. I don't think it'll matter if they talk about battery production. I don't think it matters if they'll get into refining, which these are all things I really think they're going to talk about. What I think will move the needle will be if they show a new vehicle. If they show the platform in its multiple different variances, right? So whatever they say from that perspective, I think, and if they do, I think that will be what really moves the needle when it comes to the stock price. Now, in the long term, we all know we don't know. We all believe that Tesla will be the largest company in the world. Elon believes it. Ron Barron believes it. Obviously, you believe it, especially if you watch videos like this. But I think in the short run for 2023, for Tesla to really move, we're going to need to see it. All right, we're going to need something to come out onto stage. Now, my fear is the fact that they talked about Gen 3 platform. I almost wonder if they'll just show a PowerPoint slide talking about the platform and the different things that they hope to get out of it, right? Kind of like Battery Day. It's a little different to have something on the slide versus showing you the battery and showing you the line and how it works, and we already have this going. I hope that Elon is kind of done with these, like, we have this product and we're looking at it and we have these goals, etc. We're not done yet, and then it takes 6 years to get to. I hope he's done with that. I hope the team's done with that, and I hope they take more of an Apple approach where, here's what we have going on. This is what it's going to be. This is what it'll look like, and expect to have it, say, January 2024. Right, that would be a good timeline. That's like an Apple timeline. Now, I get it. Apple has a easier way of a product to make, right? It's not a vehicle. The logistics is a lot easier to move it around. The R&D with it is much simpler. So I get that. But I still respect Apple for the way they present products and how quickly they come to market. Again, like, Tesla doesn't have to show us anything. They don't have to present anything that isn't ready to be presented or isn't, ready to be bought within the next, say 6 months to a year. So we'll see what happens. I really hope that they do show us something exciting. Tell us when we can expect it. Otherwise, I almost wish I'd almost rather them not show anything, but that's just my opinion, because I think that's the kind of thing that can hurt Tesla, right? It's just more a reputation issue. And this is where you'll get people saying Semi hasn't ramped yet. The Cybertruck's not even out yet. It'll probably get delayed yet again. This whole FSD thing, where is it? Where are the robotaxis? We've been waiting. Elon said we're going to have it in 2017 or whatever. And I get it, all that FUD, right? But my point is, we can help ourselves to avoid the FUD from even existing by learning from the delays we've had in the past, iterating and moving forward with a process of announcing products and vehicles, etc., when they're ready to come to market. Now, again, I think Investor Day is going to be much bigger than another vehicle. I think it's really going to be more so about how do we get to this point, right? How do we get to this scale? I think they'll talk about superchargers. I think they'll talk about mining, refining, batteries, mega packs. I think they're going to talk about all of it. What'll be really interesting is to see how they interweave everything, how they interweave SpaceX, Boring Company, Starlink, etc. Right? It'd be really cool to kind of to see a painted picture of something that maybe we didn't all really expect, but there it is. Right? That'd be pretty fascinating. Anyways, just wanted to jump on, give kind of my thoughts. I'm really, as much as everything else is exciting about this event, I'm just really geeking out for this Gen 3 platform. I want to see what they're talking about. I want to see what it is. And more importantly, I want to see how many variants there will be and when it will be coming out, right? And I guess I'm excited about a lot of things with this. And with the robotaxi, if this is the robotaxi, which I think it would be, I want to know when they anticipate it coming out, because that would almost tell you where they think FSD is. Right, and that would be interesting, especially if they start testing it somewhere. Right, I would love to see them start testing it. Maybe they just start testing California for robotaxi rides and see where it goes from there, and just kind of grow that pie. All right, we're gonna leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this video. You can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. I'm gonna try to put out more videos now that I'm a little less busy than what I was. I was pretty swamped there at work for a while, and then I got sick, and so things have been kind of crazy. But I'm gonna try to put out more content for all of you guys, and I love it and love the community. So, all right, we'll leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.